Welcome to Cyber Materials Ask Me Anything Cyber, a fun, interactive weekly event for everything cybersecurity. Join us every week at noon Eastern Time for a high-energy, quick-hit recap of the week's biggest cyber stories, from data breaches and threat intel to major legal updates. Whether it's a high-profile hack, a new APT on the rise, or a must-attend summit, we've got it covered. But that's not all. We'll also break down the latest job market trends, share our thoughts on cyber stocks, and give you actionable insights to stay ahead. And of course, we wrap things up with what makes this show special: live Q&A with you. Have a question about a breach? Want to know how a threat works? Curious about getting started in cyber? Let us know and we'll answer it live. Without further ado, let's get this event started.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy 2026. Welcome to our first Ask Me Anything Cyber. And I'm so excited to kick off the year with an amazing guest that we have today. We're going to be covering some really hot topics, from web security tools to the secrets behind keeping systems safe. And of course, a little bit of a takeout on online banking fraud. We also take a look at the upcoming trends in web security, and of course, we're gonna break down the biggest cybersecurity headlines of the week. And trust me, a lot has been happening in these 15 days that 2026 has started. So this is going to be a great show, insightful and packed with takeaways that you can actually use. Today, we're having an amazing guest. She's Dr. Samaneh Tajalizadehkhoob, a tech lead and hands-on security director at ICANN. Samaneh has over 12 years of experience in cybersecurity, web security, and financial crime prevention, and she has led multiple teams to deliver high-impact security solutions. So let's get things started and welcome our guest, Samaneh.
Hi, Sophia. Hi, everybody. Thanks for the introduction, and I'm very excited to be on this show and to interact with you.
Thank you, Samaneh, for joining us for a different time zone. Where are you joining us from?
I'm located in the Netherlands.
Oh, nice. So it's a little bit late over there, and we're going to keep it sweet and short for everybody watching at home or at work. And I want to start with, like, cybersecurity. We know it's like full of twists, unexpected challenges, and lessons that you only learn the hard way, right? And nobody embodies this journey like you. And I would like to know what sparked your journey and how you got to into cybersecurity.
I would fully agree with you there, especially for women. There is an element of female having harder time getting into technical studies, especially cybersecurity. For me, I think it has been the same. I'm from background, I've been an undergrad of electrical engineering, but somehow I made a switch to policy and at the end of it to security. And when I made that switch, I really had to learn everything from scratch, like coding, understanding basics of security. And during this time, I switched focus several times from on web, on infrastructure, on banking domain. And all I can say is it's very complex, and there is a lot of topics that is there looking for people to work on or doing more research. So it's an exciting domain to be on. Very exciting.
Yeah, I bet it, because I've seen your career and I've seen how much you have done. And I think it's fascinating how you get started. And thinking about the day-to-day side of things, when it comes to keeping systems safe every day, and the right tools can make or break your workflow, right? So which tools or platforms do you personally rely on to monitor and secure web infrastructure right now?
I would categorize them into tools and platforms that help organizations, and this I would just name the critical things, those that help with proactive monitoring, so the kind of vital signals,
Yeah.
and those that would do a health check. So all kinds of metrics that would capture health of a web infrastructure or a web system.
Okay,
Those are
that's
the main
it.
areas.
And is there any specific, like, I know you don't want to name names, but is there any tool that any security professionals should use to for web security?
What I see is that, for example, organizations have integrated tools like CrowdStrike, which
Mm-hmm.
which is used in many other platforms. So it's easy and compatible with other systems that organizations have. That is, I think, by population of use, one of the most tools, and tools that would cover both the health check aspect as well as the vital signals aspects. But there are many other tools out there. The functionality is important. This is the one that is most used. Yeah, and there are others out there that do the same.
That's good, and thank you for sharing this. And I know that, and this is something that we got from your profile. You mentioned about like machine learning, and we know insecurity can sound complex, but we know that if applied smartly, it can be a real game changer. And I know everybody's talking about AI right now, but you specifically mentioned about machine learning. So, can you how do you integrate machine learning into your security workflow without overcomplicating things?
Thanks for this question. It's actually something that I am genuinely concerned about, and I work on. So what is important in security is knowing why you're using something, right? As AI is hype,
Yeah.
a lot of what I see is that a lot of organizations are just using AI, Gen AI tools, but the downside of that is that they are over complicating and adding even extra insecurities to their workflow. ML is good for doing investigations on, but snapshot investigations on
Hmm.
incidents, for smaller organizations, for research focused R&D organizations. However, when it comes to scale and speed,
Hmm.
then AI-enabled tools would work better in this case. So I would say it's important that we know what is ML and what is AI, and then
Hmm.
decide what is my need and what is my use case.
Okay. And so would you consider like AI as a psychic? I can say.
You could say that it's like security in all with all technology hype. Security is always the one that is the last one to catch up. It's because engineers are a bit resistant to adding extra complexity, and this is good.
Hmm.
AI is that. But what I can also see in the tools that enable AI for security is that they are capturing a lot that ML was not capturing, especially in
Hmm.
dynamic spaces.
Yeah.
So
And I found like particularly like this very interesting from your profile because you are one of the few security professionals that are still using machine learning as a like an integrating term for security as opposed like as you said, all the hype on AI and everything. And I'm glad that we brought it up so we can actually get security professionals to integrate machine learning more into their workflows. And happy that you mentioned that. And when we go to like our next question, if someone wanted to audit their web systems today, right? What is the first thing that comes to your mind? What is the first thing that they should check or run?
when it comes to so knowing what is exposed publicly, I think is the most important thing. What
Mhm.
is exposed? What is the extent of it? And yeah, that's it, I think.
Okay. And we know that real stories show the practical side of security and not just the theory. So, for the next question, can you walk us through a recent threat or a problem that can show us the process on how you solved it or any platform or tool on how you tackle this the problem?
Definitely. One of the things that, and this happens recently, but we see a lot these days, is that as the criminals and attackers are using uh, um, AI infrastructure to scale attacks, there are phishing. The result of this is that there are more sophisticated phishing attacks, but also more sophisticated in terms of language, because the language barriers are now gone. An attack that would start from my mailbox and would need me to talk to know fluent Spanish now can use an LLM or Farsi to use an LLM to create a perfect email, which sounds legitimate, right?
Yeah.
And in scale. So what we see is that attack is more sophisticated and lands better in a targeted environment. So lands exactly on what it needs to land on. So, for example, I get an email from my energy company, a phishing email, not an energy company. This means that and we recently had an example, and this can also happen. I'm sure that this is happening also inside and outside of a lot of organizations, that what is not working anymore is static reactions or being reactive.
No.
What we did, what should work is basically, and by static I mean like doing one-time mapping between the attackers and using block lists one time. What we did and what works, because it's a fast-pacing and more advanced thing, is using dynamic, and instead of identifying one criminal, you identify patterns, and to do that, you need to use ML tools to basically on historical data to already know the patterns, the clusters, the groups, and then use AI tools when it happens to have a quicker response, because that's where your scale and speed comes from also. And this is what we did. Basically, we identified the attack. It needed a quick response, a quick information spread on what to do for those who are affected, and also basically to create an early warning system on how to detect and respond on such examples.
Yeah, and this sounds great. And I would like to ask, have you identified the threat actor? Was it an APT, a known APT?
In this case, not, and that was not necessary. It was more like identifying a campaign, which the attribution itself mattered less than what to do next. And the attribution is always important for law enforcement.
Yeah, research. Yeah.
Yeah, but for reaction, it matters less, and that's what we have not focused on.
Okay. And so you were on the side of reaction and on how to solve any like attack towards your system. So was there any like practical guide that you were following on how to like not take notes or forensics or like say preserve data?
As in how we dealt with
Were you following like a specific guideline list or any incident like response plan?
Yes, yeah, obviously there are we were following what we have in place and what we thought of doing in this situation, but also and I think this is a key aspect of it, is that you are, as the attackers are very adaptive in learning based on the reactions from defenders. The defenders should also be proactive in like every time something happens, you learn fast and you adapt it into this. And this is essential today because the attacks are becoming advanced a lot faster.
Yeah. We've seen that with like every day we publish a cyber briefing on cyber materials, so we can see this firsthand. Every day attacks are more sophisticated. One of the headlines that we're going to be talking about is about a big butchering campaign that's been happening around, and it's very like interesting and to see how they are doing it because it's automated right now. And this is what is happening and what is coming for 2026. So now we're getting a question on Substack from the audience. Somebody saying that as you work for ICANN, some questions are going to be related for the organization. They're saying we're seeing more countries proposing their own sovereign DNS or alternative root zones from a security standpoint. What are the biggest risks for the single public internet?
Thank you for the question. Obviously, that would cause risks for
Mm-hmm.
and goes against one world, one internet. But as the architecture of the internet itself is designed, it's designed to be autonomous, and
Mm-hmm.
networks decide themselves to whether or not to peer with others, and it did not take the element of the
Mm-hmm.
regulation basically into account. I think from technical standpoint, we should do our best to keep it as is, and also as we are seeing examples like this, think about how the engineering can adapt to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that the one internet remains.
So if the from your answer, so if the global root system starts splitting, is still possible to have a universal internet, or are we heading towards a world of national internets?
That's a very complicated question, and I would, and also involves a lot of politics, which I would like to.
Avoid.
But I would
Yeah.
say, internet, uh, regardless of what happens in countries and what governments decide, uh,
Mm-hmm.
technically speaking, it is very hard for the root, the single root, to not work, but by design. So and we see policies coming up against.
This fragmentation.
Exactly. To what extent they will be effective, that still remains to be seen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And we do have another question from Substack. It says, how is ICANN working to provide security researchers with the legitimate interest access they need to track down cyber criminals without violating privacy laws?
Legitimate interest.
Yeah, they pop it on a chat on Substack, but I feel like they're referring on how they are dealing with, like, to balance the privacy and security, like when ICANN is creating frameworks or that will give like security researchers like legitimate interest to access a domain, like
Mm-hmm. Then I guess the question is referring to using whois information
yeah,
or
voice, yes, mm-hmm,
okay. I know that that is a known problem in this space as being working in research for a while now. I can. I don't know to what extent you have seen, but I can publish a platform, and it's kind of a measurement platform called
mm-hmm,
from my team called ICANN Domain Metrica, which allows and it's actually specifically designed for investigations or research
mm-hmm,
purposes, where researchers can look up domains, IPs, and do further investigations on like attribution or like the background. So basically integrates who is information that I can only has access to and
mm-hmm.
present it to the world so that you can make use of it without violating privacy laws.
So, do you think these rules will actually keep pace with how fast the cyber criminals are evolving, or are we always going to be like step behind?
Unfortunately, I'm delivering the news is that there is always mm, mm, up until today, I could definitely say the defenders would always be one step behind because the attackers have access to information and also expertise that the defenders don't have. What has changed is that expertise is no longer only for attackers. The expertise is so widespread that everybody can access it. So that's one plus for the defenders. But still, I think the defense mechanisms need to catch up on being agile and catching up with the speed. That means using more tools that would give you speed and scale. And I think organizations are typically slower in that aspect. But in comparison to before, I think defenders gain
Yeah,
more on that aspect.
yeah. And the more they get, like, the more information how to react, the better it will be to fight the bad guys, right?
Definitely.
So Yeah. So last question for Substack. We have a lot actually, and a few from LinkedIn as well. But how does ICANN balance the push for DNS over HTTPS with the need for network administrators to maintain visibility at the DNS level? Like, I don't know if it's well
I
framed.
yeah. With a need for okay. Well, what is important to understand is that ICANN doesn't push anything. Basically,
Yeah.
ICANN is an organization that coordinates the internet infrastructure, and the only body within ICANN that basically has regulation power is for registries and registrars, right? Over the technicalities of especially DNS over HTTPS, which is something on the web but not on the infrastructure, is something really out of remit of ICANN. But what we do, and it actually sits within our team, the ICANN's Office of CTO, is that the engineers help promote using tools. So, for example, HTTPS or DNSSEC. Actually, some of our engineers are the ones that created these protocols. They help the community, the ICANN community or the technical community, to adapt this without needing to
Yeah.
control it or police it.
That's good. And this is like last takeout on this. Like, can we have both privacy and security at the same time, or will admins always have to choose one over the other?
They are not contradictory, and I don't. It really depends. I don't have a straightforward answer for it because, for example, when it comes to protocol communications, privacy and security comes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So making sure that the communication is secure and nobody can interrupt it, right? Encryption, DNSSEC,
Mm-hmm.
RDPI. However, when it comes to, for example, machine security, it's
Mm-hmm.
very different from privacy, right? Users may not want to be hacked, so they don't want their bank information to be still, but they don't mind to share photos online, right? So the two can be very different topics, but for sure they can come hand in hand.
Yeah, that's great. And I guess we had like a wonderful Q&A from the audience. And thank you for sharing your insights on machine learning, DNS security, everything that you're doing at ICANN, and all the practical ways that we can stay ahead of the cyber threats. So after hear all your intakes on these cyber threats, like I feel like it shows like how sneaky attackers can be, right? So it's gonna actually lead us to our next topic. It's about a report from last year from the FBI that they flagged a massive spike in account takeover fraud. So basically, what it happened is that people were pretending to be your bank to steal your information. So they reported a 250% jump in these kind of attacks. And this is right into your alley. And given your experience on online banking fraud, we prepared a short video for the audience to understand what we're going to be talking about and how to defend against these online banking frauds.
The FBI reports a huge spike in account takeover fraud last year. Cybercriminals tricked bank customers into giving up credentials. Fraudsters used fake calls, phishing emails, and fake search ads to steal login info. In 2025, banks reported a 250% increase in account takeover fraud. Customers who verified contacts and used MFA reduced their risk. For more cyber insights, join our Substack, cybermaterial.com.
So this video show us like briefly what happened last year and how many companies and banks were reporting about account takeover, and they reported 262 million losses. And from your experience, Samaneh, what makes these attacks so effective and why they are on the rise now after everything all these companies are doing to protect customers from this?
Yeah, it's actually very sad to hear that because, as we discussed already, I think we can call it the AI supercharge.
Yeah.
There is no longer broken English in the emails. There is the a use of like the hyper personalized error-free phishing pages or emails that lure the victims into these attacks. Also, the deep fake voice technology that is also something that is a new way of doing phishing that basically impersonates a voice and is also being, because people do not expect a fake voice call, so it's less expected and land over phones. Second thing, and this has always been and will be, is the convenience trap. Is that people are, and us, the users, are used to clicking fast and going into, oh, I want to do this quick, so less attention, more convenience, and that is where the basically the most gain is from. It's basically human nature.
Yeah, human nature, and we're always going to be fighting like against the weakest link, which is us, unfortunately. So no matter how like wonderful your AI or detection tools are, humans are going to be always the weakest link. And to wrap up this, and I'm really happy that we got to talk about this like specific report and about your background in online fraud. This makes it like clear that even small actions can have huge consequences, but also the right strategies and awareness can make all the difference. So next up, we are shifting gears into our lightning round, which is a quick fire insight from Samaneh on everything from must-have skills in 2026 to top resources to trends she's watching out in web security. But before, I wanted to talk about like our trusted partner. They are having our trusted partner pack. They're having an AI defense event coming up, and we are offering a 40% off discount coupon available for anybody that wants to attend this event. It's focused on real world AI threats, defensive strategies, and what security teams actually need to do right now. You can use the coupon code here or scan the QR code, and it will take you to their website directly. And that's our message before the lightning round. And now let's talk about the first question for Samaneh, which is one skill every cybersecurity professional should master in 2026.
Can I name two?
Okay, yes, we got another one.
So one skill for every cybersecurity professional, I would say fundamentals, and specifically network fundamentals, because that's the fundamental that is behind everything else in no matter where you go, to web security or infrastructure security, software security, etc. And the second one is critical thinking, which is not limited to cybersecurity.
To cybersecurity, right? Apply that in all aspects of your life, right?
Exactly, and especially with the rise of AI-related generated content.
Yeah, and that's fun that you talk about network fundamentals, because last year I gave a tech lab on web security, and my first slide was free cybersecurity advice. Learn network fundamentals first before attending this web security lab. So it's fun that I get somebody that is thinking the same. So next, one book or course or resource that has shaped your career.
I would say the security engineering book. It's a massive book by Ross Anderson, Professor Ross Anderson from Cambridge University. He and the core of it is that he connected the idea of security to the idea of that every security is an economic problem. So it's not only the technical side that needs to be taken off, but also the incentives of the people who guard those.
And and last one, biggest trend you're watching in web security in the next 3 years or the next year?
I would say AI. As the AI agents are used, the agents specifically, the problem would shift from what the models say to what the models will do, and the agents will do. That means basically touching endpoints access, as in identity, permissions, ownership, governance, and auditing. There would be
Great.
problems more and more.
Awesome. And before we let you go, can you share one piece of advice for aspiring cybersecurity professionals?
I would say I know that it's easier to become to pursue majors these days, but learn the fundamentals of security, and then so you will gain the knowledge to decide where and how to adapt tools to speed up your processes. But before doing that, know where you need to focus on by learning the fundamentals.
Okay, yeah, that's great, and it goes with your first, like a skill that any security professional should master, and thank you. Like, and one quick question we're getting from LinkedIn is how to get a job at ICANN.
How to?
How to get a job at ICANN?
Well, there is luckily ICANN has this ICANN meetings 3 times a year where you can attend. It's free.
Okay,
And you meet the ICANN community, the ICANN staff. You can talk with, and you can always approach me on LinkedIn, anywhere that you find me, and I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn. And we all, ICANN also has this fellowship program where early career people in earlier part of the career in cybersecurity can join, and then they can become staff later. So that's also a channel.
So everybody should reach out to Samaneh for these like insights on how to get a job where she's working. Probably she's gonna be their boss, and that's great. So reach out to her directly.
Yeah.
So this was our lighting round, and with insights and everything, and from Samaneh on skills, tools, and trends that are gonna be shaping this 2026. And Samaneh, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise, tips, and your stories that I bet is gold for anyone watching at home or at work right now.
Thank you, Sophia. It's a pleasure to talk with you, and was very interesting chat.
Same here. Let's stay in touch, and everybody should reach out to Samaneh. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So for our next segment, everybody don't go anywhere. Coming up, we're going to have the cyber briefing recap that we have every week, where we break down the week's biggest cyber story. So this is a quick video on how to get the latest cybersecurity headlines right into your inbox.
Stay ahead of the cyber curve with real-time alerts, incident reports, and the latest cybersecurity news, all in one streamlined, easy-to-read newsletter. Join more than 20,000 subscribers who rely on Cyber Briefing, available on LinkedIn, Medium, and now on Substack. Don't wait to protect your digital world. Subscribe today and stay informed with Cyber Briefing by Cyber Material.
So this was our cyber briefing that is going to be
Stay ahead of the cyber
on your
curve with
inbox.
real-time alerts, incident.
This is our video on cyber briefing, how to join our Substack and LinkedIn to get our newsletter every week, every day of the week. It's a weekly newsletter. So next up is troubling cybercrime alert that shows how some scams have evolved into industrial scale operations. This is about researchers that have exposed a pig butchery network. They uncover the infrastructure behind the so-called pig butchering fraud, where criminals networks use off-the-shelf tools and specialized services providers to build massive scam operations. These kits include stolen identities, automated engagement software, and even anonymous payment solutions, making it easier for organized groups to run long-term financial fraud schemes that exploit victims around the world. Some of these scams are run out of large compounds staffed by trafficked individuals that are forced into scam work, highlighting both technological and human rights concerns. So my question for the audience out there is, do you think regulations should focus more on disrupting the tools these scammers use, or are educating people to spot the scams in the first place? I would like you to drop your comments on Substack or LinkedIn so we can answer them later on. So for our next headline, we have our incident that happened during over the weekend. We are going to talk about a situation that many of you have experienced, even if you were not sure what was happening. It was that Instagram users received during the weekend a wave of unexpected password reset emails and login alerts during the weekend. While the company claimed that there was no evidence of a breach, incidents like this usually raise concerns about account enumeration or phishing attempts or automated abuse. So users are a little bit lost on if it's a legit email from Instagram or not. In this case it was, but it looks like there was a security that triggered this email, a security incident that triggered these emails. Now, my question for those watching at home or at work: reassurance like this from Meta build trust, or do you think that repeated security alerts actually make users more anxious about their accounts? I want you to drop your comments too and tell me about it. What do you think? Now, for our last headline of today, and this one is sort of like important to talk about because we have an announcement from Apple that they're going to, like, it's going to change how we interact our devices every day. They have confirmed that Google Gemini AI will help power parts of City, making a significant move toward deeper third party AI integration inside Apple's ecosystem. Now, we know Apple has long positioned itself as a privacy first, and these partnerships sort of raise new questions about data handling, user content, and how much intelligence is shared behind the scenes. Now, for those watching at home, what do you think about this? Like, does integrating external AI models like Gemini strengthen Siri without compromising privacy, or it's blurring the line Apple has worked so hard to draw? I would love to hear your thoughts on this one because we know Apple has praised himself into a privacy oriented company, but the fact that they are now integrating Gemini AI into their ecosystem, we would like to know if the line is blurred between privacy and convenience right now. So please drop your answers on our Substack chat or LinkedIn, or you can send them us directly. Now, these were the headlines we picked for this week. But if you want the full rundown on everything happening in cybersecurity, make sure to join our Cyber Briefing newsletter on LinkedIn or Substack. You will get all these stories, insights, and updates straight into your inbox, so you can actually scan the QR code that we have right now. You can subscribe to Cyber Briefing directly into our Substack. And if you're following us on LinkedIn, you can follow our page and join our newsletter directly. We do have 15,000 subscribers on LinkedIn, and we love sharing this with everybody. Now, this wraps up our first Ask Me Anything Cyber of 2026. I want to say thank you to Samaneh for sharing her insights about ICANN and what she's doing in web security and her experience in online banking fraud. And to all of you for tuning in and asking such great questions. We do have a last question on LinkedIn that I would like to answer to McQuanament. And he's asking about, like, I'm always inspired by cybersecurity from my personal interest, but the market is very low in Africa. What advice do you share with me? So I love this question, and I love that you're interested in cybersecurity, as everybody is right now. And it's a very, very hot topic. And my advice to you will be to join those organizations that they are opening chapters in your country. There's a lot of nonprofits or like cybersecurity groups that they are opening chapters in different places in the world. So I will suggest for you to nominate yourself to be the chapter leader and organize events about cybersecurity, workshops, courses, classes, or anything related to cyber. And you will be able to hold the flag of this organization in your own place. And it's going to help you raise your profile. And if you want to know about what organizations you can join, please reach out to us we'll make sure to help you. So this was all for the first Ask Me Anything Cyber for the year. And looking ahead, I wanted like our next event will feature Vlad Schifrin at the Brooklyn Tech Expo, where we'll explore the biggest companies in tech and security and what's making waves right now. Plus, we're going to be joined by a special guest, Mark Raphael, for a lightning round of questions on the top trends and tools to watch out in 2026. You don't want to miss it. And before everything and before we wrap up, I want to give a quick shout out to Echo Party Call for Papers in Miami. If you're doing an interesting work in cybersecurity research, offensive or defensive techniques, threat intel, hardware hacking, privacy, or anything that is pushing the boundaries of cybersecurity, this is your chance to share with the global audience. They are expecting 10,000 people attending this 2-day conference in May in Miami. And EcoBuddy is known for real technical talks and strong communities. So if you have something solid to share with the people, do it. Deadlines are coming up, and don't sit on that idea. Submit it and turn it into a great talk. Scan the QR code and apply today. Thank you again for joining us today. We'll see you at our next Ask Me Anything Cyber. And we're going to be seeing a highlights recap of the best stories of 2025. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Ask Me Anything Cyber 2025 highlights. 25 shows, 25 conversations that push cybersecurity forward. From IoT security with Dr. Kengo Oka and Mark Raphael, to women securing the future with Rosie, Rachel, and Brenda. We explored zero trust with Eugene Kushner, career moves and mentorship with Nelia Felice, cyberstalking realities with Scott Schober, and fraud blocking with Avi Chowdhury. We tackled healthcare security with Bob Chaput, and even security for legal professionals with Melissa Lukings. And that was just the beginning. 25 shows, countless insights, a year of cyber intelligence in 2025. And in 2026, we're just getting started. It's going to be packed. Be a guest, lead the conversation, and join us next year for more Ask Me Anything Cyber. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for our next Ask Me Anything Cyber, a fun, interactive weekly event for everything cybersecurity. Join us every week at noon Eastern Time for another high-energy recap of the week's biggest cyber stories. From data breaches and threat intel to major legal updates. Whether it's a high-profile hack, a new APT on the rise, or a must-attend summit, we've got it covered. But that's not all. We'll also break down the latest job market trends, share our thoughts on cyber stocks, and give you actionable insights to stay ahead. And of course, we wrap things up with what makes this show special, live Q&A with you. Have a question about a breach? Want to know how a threat works? Curious about getting started in cyber? Let us know and we'll answer it live. See you next week.